library at the Stafford campus recently held a workshop that taught students a unique skill. The librarian, Miss Alexa Azoparty, shares more.
Today's workshop was called a 3D printing workshop, and we start by introducing the basic concepts of 3D printing. For instance, when you print in 3D, you start and you print layer by layer. Printing sometimes it needs support and how that works, and just how a 3D printer works in general. All the parts of a 3D printer, like the build plate, the print heads, the Bowden tubes, all that sort of stuff. So once we give students an idea as to how the 3D printer works and how printing works in general, then we introduce students to the software Tinkercad. And we start by building a very simplified project. We have students make their own key tag with their name on it. This allows us to introduce basic concepts as pulling shapes over from the menu, being able to modify those shapes, putting shapes together, aligning items, aligning objects together, grouping objects together until we finally have a finished product. They also have to learn how to think in 3 dimensions and being able to move the building workspace and rotate objects so that they can see their project all the way around. Some of the projects that I have printed out are these. This is the very first one that I printed out myself. This is Grayson, and he is a cell phone holder. And he's one of the things that I use to teach students how 3D printing works. This other object, it's actually a gyroscope. This was printed, not assembled. And this is one of the things that we also use to teach students because it's a little bit more complex and it needs to be printed with support. So these are the 2 things that I use to teach students about 3D printing. 3D printing is really the way of the future. These are concepts and skills that our students are going to need in their personal life, but more importantly, in their professional life.
I liked, knowing how to just put down the shapes in general because when I learned how to use a program, I'm not really good at just learning how to do it by myself. I'm better with someone teaching it. So I enjoyed that there was a class here and we could be taught how to use it. Because I'm an artist, I wanted to kind of learn more about working with 3D software so that I could be able to eventually learn how in some sort of a class how to animate 3D characters and objects.
I love designing projects myself. I jumped in on the deep end on learning how to do 3D printing, and for the most part I'm self-taught. So I had to play with the software and designing projects, and I went through this process myself. And I had a lot of fun doing it. So I thoroughly enjoy walking students through that process and seeing the excitement on their faces as they see their projects come together and realize that they can do this too.
For HCC Beat, I'm Raquel Sims.